Happy Thursday. Wait, did I just say Thursday? Oh, I know it's normally a Friday update, but Allison on our marketing team is out tomorrow, and I'm just not that creative. I can barely draw stick people, so I really heavily rely on her. So we got to get a Thursday update out this week, not Friday, but tomorrow's not a big news day anyway, so I'll catch up next week if anything is different. So let's talk about this week. Actually, let's go back to last week. So last Friday, we got some news that Fed Governor Kugler is leaving the Federal Reserve. She wants to go back to, I think it's Georgetown, to then be a professor and continue with her teaching. So now that opens up a spot on the Federal Reserve. Now someone's going to get replaced on there earlier than expected. This really could be a sign for us, and potentially the person that's coming in that's going to replace her could be the next incoming Fed president, because Jerome Powell's term is up in May of next year. So he's going to get replaced no matter what. So we're going to have to wait and see who Kugler is replaced with, because this is going to be very important for us to watch. This is going to give us a good sign on the direction that the Federal Reserve is going to go. We also got some feedback from Trueflation. So Trueflation looks at what are the costs for us as consumers across the country, and what is that inflation rate at? You strip out volatile items such as aircrafts and health insurance and all this stuff that we can't control no matter what you do to interest rates. And Trueflation said that inflation was at a rate of 2.04%. Kind of blows me away, because the Federal Reserve's target inflation is 2%. Who's not cutting rates? Federal Reserve. Different conversation. Monday this week, we had the Bureau of Labor Statistics head fired. That's right. She was axed. I'm not going to say that I agree with the way it was handled. I've talked about the BLS for a long time. We've talked about employment reports. I've been saying forever that the employment reports are unfortunately inaccurate. What do I mean by that? If we look at reports, they push out a number, and then they come back and they say, oh yeah, we got to revise the prior months. And we're sorry that we told you that we had 200,000 jobs created, but we're going to revise it down to only 19,000 jobs. And the problem, like we've talked about in the past, is that markets react on this. So I think the BLS has a very tough job. It's really difficult to predict across the country what is going to happen with the employment and with the economy. I'm not sure that the way it was handled was the best way. I can't say that I would agree with that. But for a very long time, the BLS has been inaccurate. I don't think tampered with. I think inaccurate is the word I'm going with. Tampered is not something I would agree with. So having a change there is not a bad thing. I just think the way it happened was very poorly. Tuesday this week, we got some feedback from Realtor.com. So Realtor.com said that inventory grew at 2.5% on a month-over-month basis, and housing inventory across the country is up 25%. Now, across the country, this is still 11% below pre-pandemic numbers. But if we look on a state-by-state basis, Colorado, for example, is up 20% as far as inventory is concerned. So across the country, it's below pre-pandemic levels, but Colorado is definitely seeing higher inventory. Wednesday this week, we get two more Fed presidents. We get Fed governors, Neil Kashkari, Mary Daly, both coming out and saying, we got to cut interest rates. They are very confident that the economy is slowing. Doesn't make sense, because Jerome Powell is coming out saying, that the economy is super solid and we're on a very strong footing here. Yet we have Fed governors dissenting in the last meetings. We got Kashkari, we got Daly saying that we need to be cutting interest rates. Something's got to give here. It's going to happen at some point in time, because now you're seeing more Fed governors come out and say, we got to cut rates. The economy is not that solid. Then today, Thursday, you get Bank of England. Bank of England cuts their rates again by 0.25%, 25 basis points. So if we look across the country, majority of countries around the world have cut their rates. In fact, the EU's rates right now are down to 2.15%. Hopefully, the United States follows suit in there sometime, because the rest of the world has been on this trajectory of cutting rates, but the United States has been very slow behind it. Fingers crossed, maybe September is the meeting. We'll have to wait and see. Final note for today, we got continuing claims. So this is the amount of people that are continuing to file for unemployment. This number increased again. I think it was up by like 35,000 people. Right now, it's the highest number since 2021. It's not great in the U.S. economy when you see more people on a continual basis filing for unemployment claims. I just don't think the economy is as strong as Jerome Powell thinks it is. I think that they should be cutting rates. This is just my opinion. But if you look across the country, I think you look at inflation based on Trueflation, 2% that we see there. So inflation is kind of in check. We have unemployment increasing. Employment numbers are not doing well, unfortunately. And to me, these are all signs for the Federal Reserve to be cutting rates. Maybe we'll see what happens in September. I'm available. I'm around all weekend. If you have any questions, give me a call. I'm available 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Realtors, if your listings are not selling and you are not figuring out how to get your buyers to take action, come to our luncheon, Winning in Today's Market. I only got 2 more left. That's right. These are the last 2 on this content, taking place next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Colorado Springs and Denver South at Angelo's Taverna. And then we're going to change up the content completely. If you haven't been to this luncheon yet, make sure you make it. We'll serve you free lunch. You'll have a great time. And I guarantee you that you're going to leave us some knowledge to help you win in today's market. If you haven't been to this yet, RSVP. Let's see you there. Happy Thursday. Have a great day.